It's the 28th of October, 2024. Coming up on today's Global Intelligence Agency Operations Report. We have all the information from behind the scenes as to the events in the Middle East, and you are going to be shocked as to who is behind it all. After this weekend's failures, it looks like they are eliminating more of their own. It's the deep state versus the deep state, and no one is safe. And apparently the secret space program operatives were unaware you can't open portals with dark matter. Well, it's the 28th of October, and you are not going to want to miss this Global Intelligence Agency Operations Report. We have a lot of stuff to go over. It was a very busy weekend and a very busy Friday, so I apologize for not putting out a report on Friday. But I can tell you it was definitely worth it. So let's talk about what's happening, and then I'm going to get into some extremely interesting information based on Friday night's events. So the SSP, true to form, told everybody there was going to be a huge event that was going to take place this weekend. It was all over alt media. Not only was it all over alt media, but it was also circulating through intelligence agencies around the world, operatives, that there was going to be a big turn of events, possibly an alien invasion with 60 billion aliens that would invade this earth. And I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at this one, that we were going to have an EBS or IBS or some kind of BS. We got a BS. We definitely, they got the BS right. As far as everything else, not quite so much. They did, however, make a valiant effort over the weekend to open up portals. Apparently, they thought that they could do this with dark energy and dark matter. And for those of you that dabble in quantum physics, you will know that you cannot not open a portal with dark energy and dark matter or dark frequencies. You can't do it now. You couldn't do it a year ago. You couldn't even do it 5 years ago. You need something different. And unfortunately, that something different, that source energy, is not going to help you bring in your aliens that don't exist. They don't exist on Gaia, which is our actual planet. They don't exist in the hologram we know as Earth. They don't exist anywhere anymore. Perhaps they thought that there was going to be some kind of computer-generated Project Bluebeam that they could pull off. I'm not sure what they were doing. But just like everything else these cowboys do, it fails. Now we're on to November 5th. November 5th, the gateway is going to open. Well, I don't know what gateway is going to open, but it's certainly not going to be anything to their benefit. Now, of course, true to form, you know, they tell everybody they're going to be paid. And this is a perfect example of what I'm about to tell you, is a perfect example of why I know they are never going to get paid. And putting some orange people in an office is not going to help you get paid in any way, shape, or form. And if these operatives from around the world, intelligence agencies and or governments believe that they're going to get paid by these people, you have lost your ever-loving mind. Now, event number one that took place over the weekend, Saudi Arabia announced that they were no longer interested in joining BRICS. And this is the first, quote unquote, brick to fall, because many other countries are not going to want to join BRICS. There's two reasons for this. Number one, Putin walked across the stage and had this BRICS currency that was a prototype. Please do not think for 1 second that the BRICS organization actually launched a currency for BRICS nations. That did not happen. They have told people that this is a possibility, that it may happen in 2 months, sometime around the solstice because they have their own version of the SSP. Now, back to the cowboys. We know affectionately as Secret Space Program operatives or Duck Dynasty, who are attempting to run this country. God help us, Americans, I'm telling you. But they have been doing a little campaign of their own, promising lots of money, who's going to run the Middle East, promising that they're going to launch a currency that is backed by America throughout the Middle East. They have also been telling other folks in Ukraine that they're going to be launching a new currency and that everybody is going to have a share in it, kind of like shareholders in a large corporation. They have been talking about huge pipelines going from Israel, again, to Saudi Arabia and vice versa. Natural gas coming out of Israel and Gaza Strip once they gain control of it. And who is going to profit from that pipeline? Who's going to own the pipeline? Who's going to supply the entire Middle East and possibly the entire African continent? That's right, folks, the entire African continent with energy that they will control. Now, this is all part of the deal. But here's the surprising part of this show. We're going to call it a show because I am going to do my very best to refrain from swearing during this broadcast, and it's going to be really hard. So on Friday night, around the time that I would normally record the Global Intelligence Agency report, I get a call from my boots on the ground in the Middle East, and they tell me that Israel all of a sudden decided to retaliate from an attack that came allegedly from also the SSP, as we discussed on a prior report, but the missiles were actually launched from Iran. The SSP operatives were American, and they were actually orchestrating this missile launch using some advanced technology that no longer exists, but they did launch them from Iran over to Israel. Now, all of a sudden, come Friday night, at the very last minute before I was about to do this report, Israel decided to announce they were going to retaliate. Not only were they going to attack Iran, they were also going to attack Iraq and also attack Syria and other parts of the Middle East. Now, this was a little strange, so I did some investigating on Friday night, and what I found was an American cowboy, let's call him Duck Dynasty operative, over there in the Middle East, actually giving the Israeli Defense Forces orders and instructions and inciting them, rather demanding that they retaliate with some pretty huge promises. And I'm like, why are they listening to this guy? And who is he? So I never really got to the bottom of who he was, although I was 100% sure he was an SSP operative. I was 100% sure he was an American. And I was 100% sure, well, 99.9% sure I was dealing with Duck Dynasty there. Well, the intel finally came in over the weekend after Israel did not get what they were promised from this American. It came in from a very angry Mossad agent. And this is from Israel, deep inside Israel. They said that, there's a group that we're reporting to right now. This was a quote. And, of course, the answer was, well, we assume it was the Rothschild family. But we were wrong. In part, I guess you could say that they are, because these people are all in it together. They're probably sit together and have barbecues and do whatever Duck Dynasty people do in their off time. But he said, we do all of this for a group. And I was like, oh, okay. And then after that, it came who the group actually was. We do all of this for the Trump Organization. I said, what? You're kidding me. You're telling me that you are blowing up the Gaza Strip. You are retaliating against Iran. You are telling me you're doing this for the Trump Organization, who we all affectionately call Duck Dynasty. Hence the American cowboy over there. That now that all made sense. Now I know who the American cowboy was, don't I? And he says once Trump gets into office, they will help Israel decimate the Middle East. End quote. Decimate the Middle East. So you're saying that Mr. Anti-War, blah, blah, whatever it is they tell us American people, or, during an election time, that they are going to decimate millions of people. Oh, okay. And you're doing this per the order of the operatives that run the Trump Organization. That is a 100% confirmed fact. Not just the information from the system. This actually came from someone inside Israel who was angry because come Saturday night, nothing happened. No pay came, no portals opened. There's no arms that was promised based on their quote-unquote counterattack. No American support. And this left Duck Dynasty in a little bit of a tizzy. They were extremely angry all day Saturday and all day Sunday, or most of the day on Sunday as well, because they didn't get their alien invasion. They didn't get their portals open. And man, I gotta tell you, they tried. But can't put a square peg in a round hole. And unfortunately, we live in a world now full of round holes. And those are not your gates. Now, I was getting alerts all day on Saturday and part of the day on Sunday that they were trying to open these portals. Why? Because I'm the gatekeeper. I am the gatekeeper. I control when the portals open. I control when the portals close. And those are not your portals anymore. And if they did go where they go, they do not go down anymore. They do not get you a bunch of demons to invade Earth. No, 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 no. Secret space program. No, they do not. They go straight to source. And you know what? I should have opened them and let it suck you right in and send you all back to source and let him sort all of you people out after what I heard over this weekend. So is Israel now going to continue attacks on the Middle East? Who knows? Are they going to get over the fact that there's no support? I don't know. Are they believing that on November 5th that Trump is going to get back into office? Yes, they are believing that Trump will get back into office on November 5th. But I'm here to give the state of Israel a little bit of backstory here. Okay? Trump only had money during his entire administration because of me. By the time I cut him off, it was the end of 2019. There was no more support for the U.S. I am behind every dime that came in to the Trump administration, with a small exception. I am behind the trillions of dollars that came in during the Trump administration. Without me, there is no Trump administration. There is some strange cowboys running around a big White House. That's all you got. Next, the next $780 billion donation was negotiated between the mafia organizations of the world and Mnuchin and Trump because America ran out of money. $780 billion was donated, and $780 billion was never paid back. Now, the black nobility, who is behind all the mafia organizations in the world, also are going broke. They lost their universal trust. The universal trust is that little Albanian trust with ties that used to exist between banks all over the world. And they would move all kinds of black ops money through the universal trust lines that existed into backdoors and banks. They don't have that anymore. They also are out trillions of dollars because that system doesn't exist anymore. So they're not going to donate money to the Trump organization because they don't have any money to donate to the Trump organization. I do know and have found out about their little money laundering operations that they've been running through BricsPay. Well, it appears the cowboys want to cut off BRICS, so black nobility, you now don't have a way to launder that little bit of money now, do you, through that? And I am also aware of what you've got going with Deutsche Bank as far as physical cash from, say, illegal drugs, human trafficking, and the other things that you're doing. Now, I've left your organization alone for a reason. Obviously, it would be untenuous at this point to have arguments with people like the Triads and the Sicilian Mafia and and all of these different groups. But if it comes to that, it might come to that. So right now, you're comfortably doing what it is you do, and I'm here watching every dime of it. Now, there's a reason why you can't actually put that money into the system yet. You kind of defaulted on your contract that you had, and I'm kind of not interested in trying to renew it based on everything you have done, not only to me, but to the people of the world. So I don't think that this group is going to have the financial capacity to support the Trump administration the way that I did in the past. And I can tell you, with 100% certainty, State of Israel, Russia, China, and whoever else is listening, that I will not give the United States government one dime, directly or indirectly, for the entire administration. So if you think that you are going to buy time, Secret Space Force people from November 5th and get them to blow up the Middle East between then and January, whenever the inauguration is, that's on you. But don't cry come January. Because come January, when there's no money, no payouts, and no arms, that's all on you people. You were warned, and I told you. This administration is not going to get any support from us. They are not going to get any financial support. And the people, you'll be just fine, because we will be working with you, not with the government. You will see this administration, if this happens, and I don't even care about the Democrats, they're just as bad. I am not a politically motivated person, but I can tell you right now, I am not going to support a bunch of cowboys running around this planet thinking that they own the joint, because you people are ridiculous. So I'm sorry the Mossad is disappointed, but you're going to be disappointed again. If you continue these activities that you're doing right now from November 5th through till the inauguration, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to play the tomorrow game with you people. So if you decide to continue, you do so at your own peril, because I was there Friday night, and you know I was. Our enforcement units were there Friday night. 100%. Where's your cowboy now? Have you seen your cowboy? No, you haven't, have you? Nope. You better go look in some kind of desolate area of the desert, or see if you can uncover him somewhere, because I can tell you that cowboy is not going to tell you any more lies. Tell you that right now. And you'll be a lot easier to spot cowboys when you're all in the White House now, won't you be? Yes, you will. Now, to further give you other reasons why you American citizens should probably consider voting for, I don't know, maybe we'll nominate my dog. I mean, because at least my dog's loyal and kind to people. But there was a rally that took place in Madison Square Garden, and they let this guy talk for approximately 13 minutes on stage. This guy, oh dear God, Tony Hinchcliffe, he's a comedian. Apparently, the Trump organization and the Duck Dynasty operatives think this is funny. Take a look.
Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Free speech is under attack, people. I host a show, and each week I get updates what words we're allowed to use and not use anymore. It's happening right now the past few years. It's a real thing. And, you know, used to be able to tell people to Google stuff. My mom's a boomer in the state of Ohio, and there's no convincing her of anything. She's eating the cats. She's eating the dogs. They're eating the pets up there. It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Now, again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody. This isn't exactly a perfect comedy setup. There's some people here. All right. Very good.
Wow. And after this, it gets a lot worse, gotta say. So for those of you that don't know, we have a large Puerto Rican population in the United States after the events in the 70s and 80s there. And a lot of them live in the state of New York, and some of them are my friends. So that really probably wasn't the best comment to make. And then you decided to insult African Americans. He makes fun of a hat that an African American gentleman was wearing in the audience. And he goes on to say that, oh, I had a party with this guy, Halloween party in the last few days, where instead of carving pumpkins, we carved watermelons. Another insult. Then he says they should stop the war in Israel. And I'm sure after hearing this, that the Trump organization has no intention of stopping any war in Israel. And I don't know why you're up there saying this, but you're obviously probably put there blindly. And I can understand that because you wouldn't be read in on this. But then he goes on to say that the Israelis and the Palestinians should settle this in a game of rock, paper, and scissors. He said that the Palestinians would probably be the ones throwing the rocks. And he said, the Jews, we know how they don't like to give up that paper. I mean, how many people are you going to insult in 12 minutes? The only people he didn't insult? The white people. Now, then he goes on to say that Kamala Harris had called Trump a Hitler. After this guy's little comedian act, maybe they're not so wrong. Now, again, I will repeat, I am not politically motivated. I could care less, even less. I know the whole history behind Kamala Harris. I know of her involvement in Bohemian Grove. I know what they did to her as a young girl in Bohemian Grove. I know about her involvement with the Obama administration. I also know Kamala Harris sent $3 billion in pallets of cash to Iran. So I know everything that she personally and her operative team, because it's all her operative team, of course, has done. I know about the UK scandal little thing that you had going on there in the last year and a half. I know about the things with China. I know about the BRICS organization. I know about the deals you made with China for your own personal self, Kamala. So Nobody here is clean by any stretch of the imagination. No operatives on either side. But the one thing that is clear is both of you have bad management. You do, because it doesn't matter who gets into office. It really doesn't. From my standpoint, I've looked at you people as persona non grata. I had a conversation this weekend with an associate of mine. And his comments to me were things like, we could really clean up the CIA. We could clean up in these orders. We could do all of these things with these people. And I can honestly tell you from my standpoint, I don't see why. Why would I want to go through the effort of cleaning that up? Why would I want to go to the effort of looking at these governments like they make any sense? After all, recently the Russians look like a bunch of idiots. You've destroyed that country, haven't you? Yes, you have. The Chinese people are kind of looking like a bunch of idiots right now. They've been looking like an idiot for over a year, with your portal opening and your attempted launches of second viruses and your Skynet program and all of the lovely things you'd like to do to the entire world. We know. We know. Now you take a look at the Americans. God help us all. Apparently the government is going to be run by Duck Dynasty. And Duck Dynasty has been committed to blowing up the entire Middle East. They're committed to changing thousands of years of history, creating the Greater Israel Project. And then what, people? Let's just say that happened. Let's say every Islamic country is no longer occupied by Islamic people, like I heard in 2010 in a conversation with other Black Sun operatives over in Russia, because you're also committed to this too as well. Russians, I know about all the weapons that you've been transporting through Cyprus. Yes, I do. Matter of fact, I talked about it in the news last week, didn't I? And I know what you've been continuing to do. I know what you're doing in Syria right now. And these are all the operatives. These are your worldwide operatives right now. And I know you're doing it all for money because some cowboy said that a portal was going to open, there's going to be an alien invasion, and somehow that would amount to money to you people. And you know what? Now you're going to wait until the next full moon, new moon, day ending in Y. And you know what? You're going to fool the whole world when you get into the White House on November 5th, because then you're going to say, oh, it's not just about getting elected. It's about actually the inauguration. We have to wait till we get into the White House. Then come January, what are you waiting for then? National Hot Dog Day? What's next? What's your next day ending in Y? Oh, let me guess, the spring equinox. Come March, we're going to be in charge again. This all happened last year again, right? But you're all still listening. So you know what? If you all drive every single government on this planet off a cliff, including Israel, including Iran, including the United Kingdom, I'm watching you do it, including Russia and China, and the America and the United States. Go right ahead. We don't need you anyway, because as far as I'm concerned, your stupid operations are absolutely insane, ridiculous. You don't ever get anywhere. You can't run an operation, and you can't even run a rally in Madison Square Garden now, can you? Without offending 3/4 of Americans. So, hey, and the rest of the world too, by the way. You just insulted Israel live on TV. And why not insult the Jewish people? And while you're at it, you should have thrown in something for the Catholics and everybody else. Oh, but you wouldn't do that, would you? Because the same organization that you're involved in, with if you're not white, you're not right, also runs the Vatican now, don't they? Wouldn't want to insult those Jesuits, would you? No, you would not. But yeah, what a crazy weekend. And that confession told me everything I needed to know, because it's exactly what I watched happen in real time Friday night. Well, I should have been doing this report. Wow, it's just crazy. So, unfortunately, no one took this guy off stage. No one stopped him. Was it scripted for him? Did they mean to insult 3/4 of Americans because they cut backdoor deals to get back into the White House? And they felt they cut backdoor deals with all of their quote unquote allies? I know the UK is waiting for money for you people too. I know that with 100% certainty, Israel is waiting for money from you. I know that Russia and the Ukraine are both waiting for money from you. And next year this time, when we're doing this report over here, and we're talking about the CARE organization, the Center for Amity and Restoration of Earth, and we're talking about all of the things that we're doing over here, we might throw a bone and just say, hey, do you remember the 28th of October, 2024 report where I told you so? Because you're going to be doing the same thing next year if you still have a government. Choose wisely, because this is not going to end well for you and for the world. So good luck. Could care less if you get back in the office. You'll just make it easier for me to find you. That's all. That's all I have to say. So I hope you enjoy your time in the White House, and you better watch your six. On that note, this has been the Global Intelligence Agency report for October 28th, 2024. We'll see you again on Wednesday.